Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and this is Regular Guy Training. First and foremost, you're going to have to forgive me a little bit for the format change, because the camera that would normally be sitting on that tripod is now acting as a stand for my phone. 100,000% my fault. Friggin', I should have charged the damn battery, and I managed to leave the house without it charged. So that's the difference between some of the audio quality on some of the shoot footage and obviously this little format change here. So is what it is. So we're going over a Magwell today, and this is from Magpul, and this is sitting on my Gen 4 Glock 19. It's a very well used pistol, and it's got a lot of miles on it. So as far as this thing being used is concerned, eventually it's going to die, and I'll do a follow-up on that. But let's talk more about this Magwell. Now, Magpul decided they were going to throw on an EDC Magwell, something that'll speed up the reloads just a little bit faster while giving you ability to carry the pistol a little bit more without adding too much extra width to the pistol grip and that kind of thing, so it still hides very well. You guys can see that it doesn't add too terribly much to the frame of the pistol itself. It does help it jut out a little bit more, but it ain't crazy, right? And as far as it being able to hide, it still hides. Okay, like it doesn't add too terribly much to the pistol grip and all that stuff. So, or rather the frame. So it hides pretty good still. Now, does it do what it's designed to do? Yeah, it hides well, and it's fast. You guys saw, the reloads and that kind of thing. It's fast. It's so fast you're bad, because this is my buddy Chavez's Magwell. He took about 5 of my courses with it, including the marathon series, and he decided he was gonna be like, hey, fucking review it. So he unbolts it from his gun, sticks it on mine, bolts it to mine, and since then, the first couple of times that we ran out to do a little bit of shooting and that kind of thing, he was struggling a little bit with the reloads. So only one of 2 different words of caution that I have on this is that if you have it and you get used to it, go a little slower on those reloads if you unbolt one or go to a standard Glock, because you'll be a little bit of a mess. I've seen it myself. And I'll probably be the same way, honestly, when this thing gets unbolted from my pistol and put on something else. Now, I will say this, though. That's one word of caution. The other word of caution is on Glock 19 size mags. You can see that it sits pretty flush with the Magwell itself. What that turns into is, if you're out and you're training and that kind of stuff, and you're in a place like here, or pretty much anywhere in Kentucky, Georgia, Tennessee, whatever, any place that has clay, you might run into a couple of issues if you're out training, because these mags end up hitting the ground, right? And if it's wet out, meaning if it's raining, meaning almost every course that I do, because rain tends to follow us around, when stuff starts sticking to the sides of these magazines, eventually they're going to start trying to stick to the Magwells, and there ain't a whole lot of room. There is some to get in behind the base plate here, and you can start trying to strip it out and that kind of thing, but it is a little bit more difficult. Now, is it that much more difficult? No, not really. And the reason why it isn't that much more difficult is because I've seen it done many, many, many times. Because Chavez is the only person that's come through my stuff, or my courses, with one of these Magwells on his gun. So I've seen plenty of guys do it. Do they struggle a little bit more? Absolutely. But some guys will start carrying Glock 17 mags through courses and that kind of stuff, and then when they're on the EDC path, they'll go to the 19 mags, mostly because when it's concealed and all that stuff, and when you're going from here to the grocery store and that kind of thing, you're going to tend to not to get a shitload of freaking mud and whatnot into the Magwell of your pistol. So, that, or guys that carry around like 19X mags, or 19 mags with the +2 extension on them, or guys that mess around with the Terran Tactical stuff, anything that juts out a little bit further, it's a non-issue at that point, because you can easily strip it and do what you got to do. But it is a word of caution for guys that are really considering it and that kind of thing. Now, the install on this is actually really, really easy. A lot of you guys remember the little plugs that they were selling that would get bolted on to the insides of frames and that kind of stuff. And they never really bolted on. They just kind of clicked into place and they held themselves into the little screw hole that's on your frame. This magwell goes into that slot, right? And then there's an Allen key, or Allen key screw that you use to bolt the magwell to the pistol itself. Chavez has told me that he's never used Loctite, ever, on this particular magwell. After he installed this for me, I decided that I was going to undo the screw, Loctite it, and then put it back in, because I just have bad luck with the shit. So unless I use a retarded amount of Loctite, I just don't feel comfortable. But, you know, according to him, he's never used Loctite on it, and he shot the shit out of his pistol in my courses and stuff. So he didn't have any issues with it coming loose or anything like that. So, okay, cool. But realistically speaking, is there more to say about an EDC magwell? Not really. To be perfectly honest, it speeds up the reload significantly because there's less defend angle in there and that kind of stuff. Guys that have open ass ends to their frames, sometimes they'll chip into those or freaking do the halfway thing where they'll catch the rim of their casing on the loaded magazine going into the gun on that portion of the frame that sticks out just a little bit, that basically a little hole. They'll stick, be like fuck, and then get the insert. Obviously, this isn't the case because you can see that it's ledged up pretty good to help supplement that. So, I mean, it works out quite a bit for guys that do that because it just ledges itself in there pretty well and you don't have any issues with it. So, you know, it turns into something that really does speed you up. And realistically speaking, I don't have much more to say about it. Easy to install, fast, really fast, doesn't print a whole lot extra. Just word of caution, if you're going back to a standard framed Glock, okay, you might have to slow the reloads down to get those right. And, of course, you know, if you have a bunch of junk in your magwell, which for a lot of guys is a complete non-issue, and I understand that, for sure. You may have a little bit of trouble for guys that are outside a lot and have clay to deal with, you know, getting those mags out and doing that kind of thing if you have a bunch of junk inside your magwell. And for guys that train outside, you already know, once mags start hitting the ground a lot, it's an inevitability. Mags are going to start trying to stick. But other than that, I have no issues with it whatsoever. I think it's a great product, honestly. It's one of the very few products that Magpul has made outside of their AR stuff that works really well as designed. It doesn't cause all kinds of fucking issues like their Glock magazines and their AK magazines. So, and for those who haven't heard my spiel on those, they don't fucking work, and I have videos on both of them. So it is what it is. But that's all I got on this, guys. If you want to come out and train with us, come out and train with us. We got a bunch of classes scheduled from now through September. Come out and train with us if you want to. We're getting ready to go to Louisiana, getting ready to go to the Knoll Attack range this coming weekend. And then later on this month, I have Rifle 1 and 2 there also. And then we have a bunch of other stuff. Like in June, we're going to Tulsa, Oklahoma, although I think there's like one slot for that left. The Paisley, Florida classes are sold out. Actually, no, I lied. Pistol 1 in Paisley, Florida is sold out. Pistol 2 still has a couple of slots remaining for it. And then we have Drakesboro, Kentucky slots for Rifle 1 and 2 and Pistol 1 and 2. And I'm sure that there's something that I missed in there. But, you know, there's a bunch of different classes in a bunch of different locations. If you want to come out and train with us, come out and train with us. If you want to support us through Patreon and help soldiers come through our classes for nothing, you know, you can follow the link in the description below, as well as the link for my website in the description below. But you can follow the link in the description below to help support us through Patreon and that kind of stuff. If you want an individual benefit and help those guys out at the same time, you can sign up for the $35 a month program. $35 a month gets you all the training that you want from us, that you want, so long as, obviously, slots are open for classes. Oh, as a by the way, there's a dedicated AK class in Louisiana happening too. Here you go. But if you want to come out and support us that way, okay, great. We're actually getting ready to bring 2 soldiers through that Rifle 1 and 2 class out in Louisiana, so, you know, I appreciate that a lot, guys, because some guys will do the Patreon thing, and for this particular one, guys have donated ammo to it straight up, so I was just kind of like, what the fuck? You know, it blows me away with the amount of support that you guys give us, and it helps reinforce our belief in what it is that we're doing. So I appreciate that a lot. If you want a regular guy training hat from us, for sure, there's a link in the description below. I'm not being a great shill right now because I have a different hat on, the one that you guys are more used to seeing than the regular guy training hats. But if you want to get a hat from us, there's a link in the description below for that as well. And I'm on Instagram. Yeah, I'm a little Insta-ho, and I've been for a little while. And we got the Facebook group that is its own little sentient being right now. It does whatever it wants to. It is what it is. But that's all the time I got for now, guys. That was really awkward. But remember, regular guy's firearm is the last defense against tyranny. Be easy.